Hey, how you guys doing? It's Joaquin again, back with another Viewfinder FX tutorial. Today we're going to be going over how to lift lift text like off of a flat JPEG. Something that kind of comes up sometimes, especially when you're working with like logos. So sometimes what'll happen, like if you're working with a client and they'll send you a logo and they'll send you something like this. Um, Sorry for the small screen. I'll do my best to keep everything so you can see it. So basically, what they'll say is like, okay, I want you to put my logo on something, and you'll be okay. Send it to me, and they'll send you something like this. This is something I did for nonfiction marketing promotions. This is NFMP. Um, just using it as an example. Like basically, what they'll do is they'll tell you use the logo from here the way I have it, and it'll be like okay, but you'll like as you can see right here, it's just locked. You can't do anything with it. So, um, best way to do it that I've come to find out is using your channels. So right away, what we're gonna do is we're gonna double click the background and we're gonna unlock it, and then we're gonna go to your channels. And what you want to look for is a strong separation between the foreground and the background, and the foreground being the letters. So, that's pretty neat. I mean, that's pretty good. Green, that's not very good at all. Blue, not so much. So, looks like red's going to be the best bet. So, we're going to go right click, duplicate that, hit OK, and we're going to go down to the red copy. So, here we go. And since all we want is the NFMP part, we're just going to go ahead and mask everything else out. So, we're just going to go with the lasso tool. Which is L on your keyboard. And if you want some more um, instruction on how to use the lasso tool, because it's an awesome tool, go ahead and visit the Viewfinder Effects page and look for the tutorial on the lasso tool. It'll go over all of it. All right, now so we have that selected. We want to select everything else is what we want to do. So we're gonna select the inverse. So we're gonna go Control Shift I, and we're gonna fill it with black, sorry, which is the background layer. So we're gonna go ahead Control Backspace on the keyboard, and that'll fill it. Okay, now the way channels work with selections is everything that's white will be selected. Everything that's black will be transparent. So the goal is to have the text completely white and the background completely black. So a good way I found out to do it that kind of makes it fast and um, is using the dodge and burn tool. So basically, what the burn tool does is makes things blacker or darker. Um, so like if, for example, if I were to go over this part right here, so it just kicks that lightness all the way down to black, and that's what you want to do. But before we go and do that, um, we want to go ahead and crunch the blacks. We're going to bring up our levels, which is Control L on your keyboard, and we're just going to go ahead and move this slider all the way, not all the way, but we're just going to move it to the left a little bit. We don't want to lose too much detail on the text. As you can see, there's like a slight gradient, so we don't want to lose that bottom part. So we just want to get the background dark enough, and then we want to start bringing up the other side, which will bring up the whites. So there we go. That should be okay for right now. Now you can see like there's still some of the background left over, and that's where the burn tool comes in. So we're just gonna go over that. You don't have to be too accurate. You don't need a huge brush. Just kind of go over it. Be careful with here because you don't want to make it too dark because later on it'll start to mess with your selection. And just kind of go around here. Alright. Get a little bit in there. Zoom out a little bit to see more. Zoom in when you have to, which is Control plus and minus to zoom in and out, by the way. Alright. Get that. And like I said before, you don't have to be too accurate, but you also don't want to be too sloppy. So keep that in mind. I'm just gonna clean that up. Okay, now we have the background pretty much taken care of. Now we want to switch over to the dodge tool, and the dodge tool, if the burn tool made everything black, the dodge tool makes everything white. So you don't need, like I said, you don't need to be accurate. Just kind of go over it. Make sure you get in between here. You want to make sure that this is white. So great thing about this is, as opposed to using the brush tool, if I were to use the brush tool, which basically just paints white, which is what we want, but if you were to do that and you didn't have the right one, then it like kind of spills over with the softness. I mean, you could switch to a harder brush, which would let you stay inside, but then you have to get really accurate along the edges, and that could take you a long time. And if your boss or your client wants this done quickly, if this is like a rush order, then it's a little bit better to use the dodge tool, and I'll show you why in just a second. So here we go. We're just gonna keep going right here. Make this white here. And you might be saying, well, there's some other parts of the image getting lighter too. That's part of the background. Well, we can take care of that. So let me just hide this for a second so you can see more of the image. Don't be afraid to make your brush bigger if you have to. That way, make things faster. And there we go. And alright, let's get this last end here, and we'll be almost done. And we can get to the masking part. Okay, so there we go. Now we got a fairly decent black and white logo part. Okay, cool. So now we want to go back here to the channels, and we're going to hit control, hold control, and then click on the icon. You should see this little marching ant square. Don't click on the title because it won't work, but click on the icon. So there we go. Go back to the RGB, and we're going to hit create a new layer mask. It's like, okay, great, cool. Alright, but now you're thinking, well, there's this part that's missing, there's this part of the background going on, and so on and so forth. Okay, well, what you can do now is, if we just, let's just add a background layer. So we'll add white. Go ahead and alt click on the mask, and then it'll bring up the mask. Alright, great. So now what you want to do is use your brush tool now. So like right here, just bring this up, or I mean the dodge tool, sorry, not the brush tool, and just kind of paint that back in. Paint these white areas in, and you might notice some of the jagged edges. Well, we're gonna fix that real quick too. Don't worry about that. Alright. Just kind of go back and forth and check. See, okay, here we go, here we go. Okay, so that's fairly decent. Depending on what you're using for, you could stop right there. But if you want to go further, you go up to your the adjustments. Sorry, yeah, with the mask right here, and we're just gonna go ahead and feather this mask right here, and we're gonna bring back some of that drop shadow. Just be careful with it, and then the density will bring down obviously the entire mask. So you want to leave that up. And just kind of mess and play with that. Another cool thing to use is the refine edge. Now this is a pretty neat tool that they added, I think, in the CS4 suite. So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna boost the contrast, and you just go through this whole panel and just see what it does and play with it until you get like a nice looking mask. And the feather, you could actually use decimal, and then we just kind of want to contract just a little bit and turn down the contrast. We're just going for looks good, okay? And just hit okay, and there we go. I mean, that's pretty much taken care of. I mean, for a rush job, that's all you can hope to do. And you might say, well, you know, they used to have like a drop shadow. Well, now that you've had it like completely cut out, you could add your own drop shadow. Go right in there, add that, manipulate it how you want, turn the size up or down. In this case, I think we're gonna turn it down, and now you're free to move it freely as you want. Another quick tip, if you want, like say if they wanted a certain color, I want it all black, or I want it all green or red, or just go to the color overlay, and that will probably give you the fastest way to do it. And you just kind of see how it just quickly updates. All right, and that's it. So I hope this saves you guys a lot of headaches and saves you a lot of time. That way you're able to get to other projects or other more important parts of the project. And if you have any more questions, or you have any more questions about what I went over today, just send me a message on my Facebook. Go to facebook.com/viewfinderfx, and I hope this helps you guys out. And we'll talk to you next time.